Hey everybody, this is Brendan with Business for Chummies. Today we're going to be looking at how to create an organizational chart in PowerPoint. And so Microsoft has a very neat feature that actually spans across a lot of their products called SmartArt, and that's what we're going to be using to build the organizational chart in PowerPoint. So to get started, I have a blank slide here, and I'm going to navigate to the Insert tab. I'm then going to click the SmartArt button, and from the list of categories here, I'm going to choose Hierarchy. And the first option available to me here is organizational chart. There are a few other organizational chart types, but we'll start with the simple one and get that under our belt. I'm going to hit OK, and the slide gets populated with a pretty standard, pretty boring looking organizational chart, but we'll fix that up real quick. You'll notice that I have over here kind of the text pane. I actually like to create the organizational chart using the outline format rather than trying to directly manage it here using the shapes. Um, so this gives me the ability really to, in the bulleted outline structure, really determine and see that hierarchy in a very clear way. So for our example today, we're going to build the organizational chart and hierarchy for the office staff at the Scranton branch. So let's go ahead and put Michael Scott here up at the top. If I hit the enter button, it's going to create a new bullet. So rather than doing that, what I want to do is when I'm over working in the text pane, I want to hit Shift Enter to just do a small line break. And that can allow me to put in his title. I can also edit the text directly here if I wanted to. This would allow me to hit enter and get a full line break, um, a full paragraph break, and get some spacing in between the title if I wanted to do that. Next, I'm going to go ahead and put a few folks underneath Michael. So we'll say, obviously, Jim reports to Michael. We've got Dwight. And then let's go ahead and put Angela as the head of our accounting office under Michael. So there we go. We've got our kind of general hierarchy, our two-tier hierarchy. We've got our branch manager at the top and a few employees down below. There is an option here if I select one of the shapes. In the top left, create graphic section. This is only available once you have the SmartArt shape selected. I can click add a shape. This generally works pretty well based on the shape that you have selected. But for example, if I were to go up to one of my top tiers and hit add shape, I would have expected that it dropped a shape beneath Michael here in the second level, but it didn't do that. It added it at the bottom. And that's one of the reasons why I like using the bulleted structure here on the left. But that's neither here or there. Let's go ahead and continue filling out our structure. So let's start with Jim. Under Jim, we have sales team. We've got Andy. We've got Ryan, Stanley, Phyllis, and let's stop there. And then under Dwight, let's say that he's oversees all the admin staff. So we've got Meredith, supplier relations. We've got Creed with quality assurance. We've got Pam, the receptionist, and Kelly with customer service. And then under Angela, as our head of accounting, we've got the two accountants, Kevin and Oscar. So that gets us a pretty good structure. You can see as a standard layout, what PowerPoint's doing is doing this kind of, the top level is set to the left, and then everyone under that person is ordered vertically. So there is an option here. If I highlight the level that I want to organize, in the SmartArt design section, under the layout, I can choose the standard layout, and that's probably what a lot of people are most familiar with, which is seeing the next hierarchy and then anyone that's below that person kind of spread out horizontally across. The problem with that is if you have a fairly large organization, this layout just doesn't work, right? It makes your organizational chart extremely wide. The other option, other than the left hanging or right hanging, would be to do a both. And what this will do is it'll create two columns underneath your top level, and then it'll kind of organize those vertically in a symmetrical way. So you can see how that looks. Um, I think just for space purposes, I'm going to do left hanging on all of these. All right. So it's a few other things that we can do here. You notice how the text is kind of butting right up against the shape here. So I want to create some spacing and some margin inside of my shape. I'm going to select the shape, right-click it, and then click Format Shape. Then I'm going to come over here to the Size and Properties section. And in the margins, I'm going to bump these up a little bit to 0.1. And this will give just a little bit of space around the edge. And you notice that as the um, margins increased, the text size decreased in order to stay within the margins, and it also decreased the text size for all of the shapes in the chart itself. I can have a little bit of control if I want to make things a little bit larger. Obviously, I can scale the organizational chart, and the text size is going to grow accordingly. I also have all my regular formatting options here. So like, for example, I can make items bold, I can make items italicized or underlined. All of the regular formatting options are available to you here. I also have the ability to colorize some of these. So if I just select the organizational chart, the main border around the entire chart, if I go to the change colors section here, there are some kind of pre-formatted colors that are available to you. Simply choose the one that you like and you're good to go. Or you can choose each individual shape. And in the Format tab, under the shape fill, you can then choose the specific colors that you want to use for your organization. All right, so that's a pretty basic organizational chart. There are a few other options that are a little bit more snazzy looking. One of them is if I select the organizational chart and then I go to the SmartArt Design tab, under the layouts, I can kind of switch over some of these layouts to a different layout. And the one that I like is the picture organization chart. And what this does is this allows me to add a photo for each of the individuals. Now you'll notice that when I transferred, or when I moved the organizational chart from a regular to a picture, some of the margins have been adjusted. And so I need to go and update those to make sure that our picture isn't covering any of our text. So to do that, I'll hover over and click the shape. I'll then go to the Size and Properties tab. And the issue here is this left margin, right? So the left margin of this text behind the photo is right up against the edge. So what I need to do is increase that margin so that the margin starts after the photo. So let's just bump that up. I guess it'd be probably 0.6 or 0.7 somewhere where we need it to be. There we go, 0.7. And then this photo placeholder is just part of the SmartArt. There's nothing you really need to do. Simply click the icon in the middle and it's going to give you a few options. So you can choose a photo from a file if you have a file locally on the computer. You can use stock images. This will be like clip art from the stock image library, or you can search online for photos. And I'm going to go ahead and do that. All right, got some few options here. Let's go with the world's best boss, classic. And then I could continue to do that. I could go through and add photos. I could add titles to all of these. And then I can reorganize the organizational chart in the way I want. And when I'm done, my presentation should be good to go. All right, I hope you learned something. Nice quick tutorial, and I'll see you next time.